The air was sharp with the bite of early autumn, the kind that hinted at winter just around the corner. Leaves scattered across the cracked pavement outside the shelter, swirling in lazy spirals as the wind pushed them along. The small building stood at the edge of town, its sign faded but still legible, Hope Haven Animal Rescue. Jack stood in front of the door for a long moment before stepping inside. His broad shoulders were wrapped in an old army jacket, his hands buried deep in the pockets. He walked with the stiffness of someone who'd seen too much and spoken too little. The deep lines on his face weren't from age alone but from memories that never left. His steel blue eyes scanned the room slowly, not searching, just observing. He hadn't come here to adopt. The VA counselor had suggested it weeks ago, gently. Maybe just visit, she'd said. Asterisk, you might be surprised what a connection can do. Asterisk, he hadn't laughed. He didn't laugh much these days. Inside, the shelter was warm but smelled faintly of bleach and wet fur. The sound of barking echoed down the narrow corridor as a young staff member approached. Asterisk, can I help you, sir? Asterisk, Jack shook his head. Asterisk, just looking. Asterisk, she nodded politely and gestured toward the rows of kennels. Asterisk, take your time. Asterisk. He moved slowly, hands still in his pockets. Dogs jumped up against the gates, tails wagging, tongues out, pleading with their eyes. A beagle let out a sharp bark. A golden retriever pawed at the bars. Jack barely reacted, his gaze distant, unfocused, like a man walking through someone else's dream. Then he passed the last kennel and stopped. In the far corner of the cage, half hidden in shadow, lay a large German shepherd. His coat was dull, patches of fur missing. One hind leg trembled slightly, the result of an old injury. His ears were low, his gaze fixed on the concrete. Until Jack stepped closer. In that instant, the dog stirred. Slowly, almost painfully, he lifted his head. His eyes, tired but sharp, locked onto Jack's. He let out a soft bark, not loud, not desperate. Just recognition. Jack's breath caught for a second. He stepped forward, squatting down to the dog's level. The world seemed to quiet. The other dogs kept barking, but it was like the noise had faded to the background. The dog stood slowly, stiffly, and moved toward the gate. A nameplate on the cage read, Asterisk Rex. Male. Approximate 9 years. Retired K9, asterisk, and beneath it, written in smaller letters, not recommended for adoption due to age and injury. Jack didn't look away. And neither did Rex. No words were spoken. None were needed. They had both served. They had both been broken. They had both been left behind. And now, for the first time in a long time, they weren't alone. A few minutes after Jack and Rex locked eyes, a young staff member approached, noticing the quiet connection. You're looking at Rex, she said gently. Asterisk, he doesn't usually get up when people walk by. Asterisk. Asterisk, he was K9? Asterisk, Jack asked. She nodded. Asterisk, retired. Injured during a search and rescue, tore a tendon. He recovered, but not fully. With age and the injury, they let him go. No one's wanted him since. Asterisk. Jack looked at Rex's trembling leg. Asterisk, no one wants a broken dog. Asterisk. Not unless they've been broken too, she replied softly. After a pause, Jack asked, Asterisk, can I walk him? Asterisk. She smiled. Asterisk, I'll get his leash. Asterisk. Rex limped slightly as he stepped out of the kennel, but he moved with quiet dignity. When Jack took the leash, Rex looked up at him, not with fear, but with recognition. They walked in silence around the shelter. Jack didn't speak, just walked at an even pace. Rex followed perfectly in step. Occasionally, Jack gave a small hand signal, old habits from service days. Rex obeyed without hesitation. You remember, Jack said quietly. Rex's tail wagged once. Jack knelt and brushed a hand over his ear. Asterisk, I know what it's like to be useful, until you're not. Asterisk. When they returned, Jack told the staff, Asterisk, I want to take him home. Asterisk. She blinked. Asterisk he has his challenges. Asterisk. I'm not looking for easy, Jack replied. Asterisk neither is he. Asterisk. An hour later, Rex climbed into the passenger seat of Jack's truck without hesitation. Jack glanced at him. Asterisk you ready, partner? Asterisk. Rex let out a low chuff and laid his head down. They didn't look back. Jack's home, a small cabin near the woods, was quiet until Rex arrived. At first, both were cautious, reserved. Rex explored slowly, limping room to room. Jack gave him space. Mornings became walks along the woods. Rex kept pace beside Jack, his limp steady but determined. Evenings were spent by the fire, Jack cooking warm meals for Rex, who ate gratefully before curling up near the hearth. Jack began to talk about his wife, the war, the silence he'd lived in for years. Rex listened, always nearby, never judging. One afternoon, Jack gave an old canine command, asterisk down. Asterisk Rex obeyed instantly. A soft smile tugged at Jack's face. They began training again, simple commands, small tasks. Jack even built a makeshift agility course in the backyard. They weren't soldier and canine. They were partners. But the nights were hardest. Jack's sleep was haunted by memories. One night, he woke from a nightmare, drenched in sweat, heart racing. He knocked over a lamp, gasping for air. Rex, silent, approached. He pressed his head into Jack's leg, grounding him. Jack dropped to the floor, gripping Rex's neck like a lifeline. And then he cried, not for the war, not for the dead, but for the years he thought no one could understand. Rex stayed beside him, still and solid. In that moment, something broke open. Jack wasn't alone anymore. He had Rex. And Rex had him. The forest was quiet that morning, wrapped in early spring mist. Jack walked his usual trail, the path winding through tall pines and soft moss underfoot. The air was damp, cool, and still. Rex trotted beside him, slower than in his younger days but focused. His ears flicked at every sound. His limp had lessened, though Jack never pushed him far, just enough for them both to stretch, to breathe, to remember who they were before the silence. Jack took a turn off the main path, stepping carefully over a fallen log. And then the ground gave way. It happened in a blink, a hidden hole in the earth, probably an old animal den widened by time and erosion. Jack's foot went first, then his body. He tumbled hard, crashing into roots and stone until he hit bottom with a sickening crack. Pain lit up his leg. His vision blurred. He tried to sit, but the agony in his shin told him exactly what he didn't want to admit. His leg was broken. Damn it, he hissed through clenched teeth. Rex appeared at the edge of the hole, barking sharply. I'm okay, Jack called up, gritting his teeth. Asterisk just stuck. Asterisk. He pulled out his phone. No signal. Of course. The forest had always been their escape, but now it had become a trap. Jack looked up at Rex, who was pacing in tight circles near the edge, whining. Jack's voice grew firmer. Asterisk Rex. Go. Go get help. Asterisk. The dog paused, ears perked, tail rigid. Jack repeated, louder, asterisk go. Go home, boy. Asterisk. Rex didn't move. Jack clenched his fists. Asterisk go, soldier. That's an order. Asterisk. There was a long silence. Then Rex turned. He hesitated just once. Then bolted into the woods. Jack leaned his head back, trying to stay calm as pain pulsed through him. Asterisk come on, buddy. Find someone. Asterisk. It took Rex nearly 30 minutes to reach the clearing near the house. Every step was a test of endurance. His old injury screamed. He stumbled once, then again, but kept going, driven not by command but by loyalty. He reached the front porch and barked, loud, deep, urgent. No answer. Jack's house sat empty. So Rex turned again, heading toward the neighboring property 2 lots down. He barked as he ran, drawing attention, his coat muddy, chest heaving. He stopped in front of the neighbor's garage and barked nonstop. The door creaked open. A woman stepped out. Rex barked harder, pacing, turning toward the woods. Asterisk, you need something, boy? Asterisk. He let out a loud, sharp yelp and started walking, then stopped, looking back. She hesitated. Then followed. Her husband joined a minute later. Rex led them to the trail. When they reached the pit, Jack's faint voice called out, "Asterisk, down here." Asterisk. Within an hour, EMTs had arrived, guiding Jack out on a stretcher, stabilizing his leg. He was pale, exhausted, but alive. Rex stood by the paramedics the entire time, tail low but steady, his body trembling, not from fear, but fatigue. As Jack was lifted into the ambulance, he reached out and let his hand fall on Rex's head. "You did it," he whispered. Asterisk, you came back for me. Asterisk. Rex licked his fingers, then laid his head on the edge of the gurney. That night, after Jack was treated and resting in the hospital, the story spread about the old, injured German shepherd who had crossed the woods alone to save his person. Neighbors called him a hero. The EMTs shook their heads in disbelief. "He's not just a good dog," one said. Asterisk, he's a damn legend. Asterisk. And back at home, after Rex had been cleaned up and fed, he curled up on Jack's side of the bed, his body aching, but his heart full. He had once been left behind. But now, he had someone worth running for. Even if it hurt. Even if it cost everything. Because love doesn't count steps. It remembers direction. And Rex had found his. The story of Jack and Rex quickly spread through town. What began as a quiet act of loyalty in the woods became a powerful symbol of healing and resilience. The local paper's headline read, "The War Vet and His Hero Dog." News crews came next. Jack, a man of few words, said little. But when asked why he thought Rex came back for him, he simply replied. Asterisk, because that's what brothers do. Asterisk. The story touched the community. Kids sent drawings and letters. Veterans stood and saluted as Jack and Rex were honored at a local ceremony. Rex received a custom service vest and a medal inscribed, Companion of Honor. Though he didn't understand the applause, he stayed by Jack's side, tail wagging softly with every cheer. Back home, their life returned to its quiet rhythm, but something had shifted. Jack was no longer just a reclusive vet at the edge of town. He was the man with that dog. And Rex had become something of a local legend. Then, late one night, Rex's instinct stirred. It was past midnight, and Jack was asleep, when a sound, sharp and wrong, cut through the quiet. Glass breaking. Rex, older now, slowly stood, joints aching, but moved to the window, ears alert. He growled low, then barked sharply, once, then again. Jack jolted awake. Asterisk, what is it, boy? Asterisk. Rex barked louder. Across the street, the neighbors' motion lights flared as a figure bolted from their home. Jack stepped onto the porch just as Rex erupted in furious barks, waking the entire block. Neighbors rushed out. Lights snapped on. The intruder was quickly caught and held until police arrived. He's hit this block before, an officer said. Asterisk, you're lucky someone saw him. Asterisk. Jack looked down at Rex, who sat beside him, steady and alert. He didn't see him, Jack said. Asterisk, he felt him. Asterisk. The next day, Rex made headlines again, this time as guardian of the block. Children drew pictures of him wearing capes. Someone placed a sign on Jack's fence, protected by Rex, hero and hound. But Rex remained unchanged, quiet, humble, ever watchful. Each night, Jack sat beside him on the porch, stroking his fur. You've done more for this town than most men I served with, he'd whisper. And Rex, as always, leaned into his hand. He didn't need applause. He had already fulfilled his mission, with love, loyalty, and the soul of a soldier who never stopped serving. The winters in the small town grew colder, but Jack and Rex didn't mind. Their days followed a quiet rhythm, simple, steady, and sacred. Each morning at sunrise, Jack would clip the leash onto Rex's worn collar, and they'd walk slowly to the edge of the woods and back. Rex, now frail, moved with effort. His muzzle was white with age, his legs stiff, but he still perked up at the sound of Jack's voice. "You good, partner?" Jack would ask. Rex's tail would thump once in reply. Neighbors waved. Children, now older, smiled as they passed. The war vet and his hero dog side by side, unchanged by time. Evenings were spent by the fire. Jack sat in his old chair while Rex lay at his feet, head resting on Jack's boot, the same way he always had. Then one winter morning, the world slowed. Jack rose early, made coffee, and turned to Rex's bed. But Rex hadn't moved. He lay curled, as always, peaceful. His head resting gently against Jack's boot. But he was still. Jack knelt beside him and laid a hand on his back. No words. Just the quiet ache of goodbye. Later that day, Jack dug a grave beneath the oak tree, their favorite spot. He wrapped Rex in his blanket, buried him with his collar and tag, and placed a wooden marker above the earth. Rex. My hero. My brother. My friend, Jack stood there a long time, holding the old collar in his hands before placing it gently down. "You didn't just save me," he whispered. "You gave me a reason to live." Snow began to fall as he turned toward home. Weeks passed. The house was quiet again. Jack felt the emptiness settle in, but he kept the fire going, just like always. Until one early spring morning, a knock came at the door. A familiar face from the shelter stood there, holding a puppy, floppy ears, uncertain eyes, two big paws. "We thought, maybe," she said. Jack looked down. The puppy wagged its tail. He reached out. The pup licked his hand. Jack smiled softly. "You've got some big paws to fill, kid." He stepped out onto the porch with the pup in his arms, the sun rising behind him. And beneath the oak tree, the leaves stirred, soft, familiar. Like a quiet goodbye that never really ended. Because love never truly leaves. It just finds a new way to return. Thank you for staying with us through this deeply moving journey of Jack and Rex, a story of second chances, quiet healing, and a bond that outlived pain, silence, and even time. Rex wasn't just a rescue dog. He was a soldier, a guardian, a best friend, and most of all, a reminder that love and loyalty can find us even when we believe we're too far gone. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Amazing Paw Stories, where we bring you real, emotional tales that celebrate the power of animals to heal, protect, and love unconditionally. Because sometimes, the heroes with the biggest hearts walk on four legs. We'll see you in the next story.